All right, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of CompCast. Of course, my name is Jules. As always, I've got a brand new guest with me today. If you just introduce yourself.
My name is Txao Makarov. I play for HCL Esports in Contenders Europe right now.
Well, there it is. Easy mode. Cool. Right, I wanted to kind of do the series and kind of helping some players, although you're probably one of the most known players in EU currently because you've been around for a fair while in the Russian scene as well. But I want to start out on how you kind of got into Overwatch, what games you like perhaps played before, and then kind of worked your way into, because a lot of people have competitive experience in TF2, etc. So why don't you kind of start from the bottom?
Well, kind of the thing is, I've been playing games since I was like 11, and I mean by playing games, I mean like online in teams, trying to do like some competitive stuff, but never did anything like serious where I actually got paid for it. I was just from one game to another. The most recent game before Overwatch was CS:GO. I played a bit for my university team. We did quite well, and then like I was also trying out, like not trying out, but trying to do stuff with the other teams in like amateur tournaments, trying to maybe go somewhere, but never achieved much. Also played a lot of Hearthstone, played a lot of Dota, but Dota like was plain fun. I never tried anything in Dota. And then League. League I actually tried, but for a little bit. I got expelled from university first time when I was 17. I got
Right.
expelled for playing League too much. Yeah, because I was actually like I needed to do a coursework, and I actually did it, but I didn't go to present it because I was playing League. Yeah, so
Wow.
yes, and I got expelled, and then I said no more video games. And then fast forward, the BlizzCon, I think it was 2015 or 2016 BlizzCon, where they announced, I think it's 15, yeah, they announced Overwatch, and I'm like, this is a fast-paced shooter with MOBA like spice a little bit, yeah, of it,
Yeah.
like abilities and different heroes, and this is exactly what I like because I played MOBAs before, and my first games were shooters, Call of Duty and CS, and this is a game for me. I actually had goosebumps looking at it, looking at the trailer. I was like, yeah, this is something I want to play. The Thor Tracer, this is my character. And then I bought the game and I hated it, absolutely hated it for first week because I was playing on NA ping, and then I played
Oh,
on
I
U ping,
see.
and then I loved it. I loved every second of it. I played every day, quick play for like 6 hours, maybe 8 hours for 3 months straight. I think something like that.
Nice.
That's how I got into Overwatch.
How why were you playing on an A ping?
I think it was because like I think it was like beta, and I couldn't actually choose the region, so it automatically put me
Ah,
on the NA servers on like 150 ping. And I thought if it's gonna be like this on the release, I'm not gonna play it. But it wasn't, so it was okay.
wow, that's really strange. It like randomly put you on an A. Of course, you're in Russia, so I don't know. I feel like
Yes, it
that's not close to the US at all. That's like really far away from the US. That's
yeah,
really weird.
it's not very fun to play on an ping. Yeah,
Yeah, what the hell? Okay, well, yeah, there it is. How you got into Overwatch? That's good. I mean, I think that's a lot of people's stories. How they like either tried in certain games or just really liked FPS. Maybe came from CS:GO and they were like Overwatch. Wow, this game's really good. Like you said, MOBA elements of it. How did
yeah,
your first competitive like experience in Overwatch come about? Did you go out a quick play and you were like, I want to be really good. I think I'm
yeah.
pretty good. Maybe I jump
Yes.
in ranked. Like, how did that go?
Yeah. So the thing is about me is like whatever I do, like even in studies, anywhere in sports, whenever I like something that like I'm doing, and I want to see how good I am compared to others. Like I will always go like I beat this, like for example, I really like this single player game, yeah, and I'll beat it like 5 6 times, and then I'll try to get it fast, like I try to speedrun it, and then I want to see what's the record, and then like I play this competitive guy. I played Call of Duty for like 3 years,
Oh yeah.
and after like just playing with friends, I realized that like I want to play in teams. It's fun, and I play in teams. I beat other teams, and it's fun. And then other any tournaments, there are tournaments. Okay, let's try to compete. And it's always been like this. I was always a very competitive person. And when I started playing, like it was quick play, and then I heard Drunks coming out, and I'm like, okay, let's see how far I can go. I actually um, placed rank 55 in season 1, which was like basically plat right now. Like, and then all of my friends are like, yeah, you're not that good. You're actually not that good, because I was like, whenever I was playing with someone, I was actually like very good compared to them. And then I'm like, no, there is no way I'm that bad. And then I played for like 2 months of ranked, and I got to 82, I think,
Ooh,
and it was like
wow.
top something. Yeah, and I finished 82, I think. Or 80, something along those lines. And then I was like, okay, so I'm pretty good. It's top 500, maybe more, like top 100. So I think I should look for a team. And then I went on every website that I knew about on ranks, like where I could post an LFT post. I posted it everywhere, and then I started like switching teams because I didn't know what's good, what's bad, and I like started switching, and then I got invited to a team where like with players that I actually knew from ranked, and that's how I started. I played in a team. I don't even remember. Like I think it was Bikini Beach Boys or something with
10 out of 10 name.
yeah, it was like out of everyone, I think you maybe know Radio Boy. He was
Yes.
later with Angry Titans. He was a manager, and then there was Dante, who played for um for Neptuno team. I don't remember the name. The Spanish Movistar Riders. He played Movistar Riders after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I played with him, and yeah, that's how I started. And then from that team, Ang actually he wanted to talk with me, and what I did also in ranked, and this is also the important to the story of how I started, I guess, is I googled every Russian player that's like somewhere, and then whenever I saw this nickname in my ranked game, I would say hi in Russian, so they know that I'm Russian, so they maybe like invite me to something, you know. And actually, Claus, that was playing with Eng for Tornadorox back in the day, he actually did invite me to a friend list, and then I got to be like a stand-in for their team for a bit, and then Eng was the one inviting me to the new Tornadorox roster after that, and then I played half a year for that, and after that I started playing in teams, getting more or less paid sometimes for that. Yeah, that's how I got into, I guess, professional, semi-professional rush.
Damn. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you're playing with like a lot of players that are still around in that case.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
OGs. Damn, that's pretty
Yes.
sweet.
I was on Liquipedia recently, and I watched the roster of the team called Oompa Loompas. It was actually a mix that I was invited to play ESLs, if you remember ESL tournaments
Yes,
back in
yes,
the day.
yes.
And the roster looked like it had Kevster, it had Fanny Astro, had Dridro, me, Chubbs, and then I don't remember who was the last one. Yeah, but it was actually
That
stacked.
is
It was
stacked. Yeah,
actually
that is a
stacked.
stacked team.
Yeah. Oh,
Jesus.
the last one was Faye. You maybe know him from ranked. Yeah.
Fame. Potentially, if I saw his name in the boards,
Yeah.
that is a stacked team. Jesus.
Yeah.
Funny Astro, of course, Atlanta of Atlanta Rain now. So yeah, everybody's moving on up. That is for certain. Ever
Yes.
since the OG
Totally.
teams. What has been your
Totally.
favorite kind of experience in those teams way back then? Like everybody has their kind of fairy tale stories of like, oh man, it was so good. Like when we played on this team, it was so much fun. Is there any one team you kind of miss playing with?
Yeah. CIS Hope.
Oh,
For
of
sure.
course. Yeah, that
Yes.
was an
Like
obvious answer.
yeah, CIS Hope and later Winstrike. The Poland contenders was the best probably tournament that I've ever been to, even though it was only like one match for us basically, but it was still very good to meet everyone on contenders, meeting casters as well. It was very good. Uh, the first tournament I've ever been to, like the Blizzard tournament, was the 2017 World Cup, where I was actually also met Sharik and others. Before that, I've been to like France, DreamHacks and stuff, and also Russian tournaments, but not much. But I guess, yeah, like CS Hope was the experience that I enjoyed the most out of everything. Although right now I would say that HSL is it's not the same, but it's very close. It's very
Yeah.
close.
Okay. That's good to hear. I mean, CIS Hope, especially thinking all the way back to the Polish land back in season one. You guys, because I remember you guys didn't have jerseys or anything. and we were like, "Oh, this is gonna be so sick, dude. We're gonna see CIS Hope." And obviously they had Giganti, Hurricane, all our jerseys and stuff. And then you were the literally the underdogs in that tournament because or in the playoffs, sorry, because you didn't have a brand, or like you didn't have a an org over the top of your head. You didn't have a brand. It was the Space Bear, but the blue t-shirts with the Overwatch logos on, that like became synonymous as like, that's the CIS Hope, man. That's Winstrike, man. Like they are the team that came in as like, we haven't got an org, we don't really care, like we're still gonna play our hearts out and just play everything, play as good as we can on LAN. Was that kind of your first LAN as well, like together as a team, or did you
As a team,
play
yes.
previously? Oh
Yes,
damn.
as a team, it was the first one. I mean, it doesn't really matter for the team back in the day because everyone was already experienced, even me. Like I
For
guess
sure.
the least experienced player was Mayun, and he did great, so it's fine. Like I mean, he did his best, and I don't think he was the like you know he wasn't the one to blame for our loss. I remember like this game against British a little bit. I remember that we were leading, I think, on the second map, and we lost, unfortunately. And this was like the turning point of the series, and then we lose the whole thing. And I remember this was very unfortunate because like this one series against British Hurricane is probably like the career deciding series, because if you look at this right now, like everyone from British Hurricane have moved up except for Bok1, but Bok1 is like the only reason, I believe that the only reason Bok1 is not in A and not in OWL is because of his age. But other than that, he's like insane player, and he's a very good person. He's one of the best people I've met in Overwatch. Even though I didn't even talk to him that much, he just
You just know
leaves
you know
that.
he's that good.
Yes, he leaves that impression.
Like that
Very good.
that's one of the interesting things about Overwatch specifically, because you look at other first person shooter games, and I'm thinking of games like CS:GO, even if I stretch to console games, because I got a little bit of experience in like Halo from like way back when, watching like old MLGs and stuff. A lot of those players that are like OGs, some of them still play the game. Like I'm thinking of people like Snipe Down. I'm not entirely sure if you followed the Halo scene, but like he's the
No,
same
no,
age as
no.
me, or he may be a year older than me actually, but he's not like the youngest guy in the world. He's not like an 18 or maybe like 16 to 18 young start gamer, but like he's at the top of the world right now in terms of like Halo esports. And then CS:GO pros, their average age is much higher than it is in Overwatch. Why do you think that is? Because in Overwatch, it's like, okay, it's all these under 18s that can't attend like lands or World Cup or whatever. Why do you think
Uh,
people look to those rather than some people that have been around for a long time, like Bok?
like the main reason I believe, I'm googling something right now. Okay, so the main reason I believe for this is because it's like a franchise based thing. So it's not like tournament from tournament. You have this star like Cold Zero who is like very good for 3 years, and then suddenly he drops off. You want this like, you want to build it up for this guy, and then he was like a rookie, and then he got better, and then he got better, and then he got worse, and then he got better again, or maybe like something like that. But the age, like 18, 19 age, is very good for building a character, for building a player. Maybe that's why like franchises, they want players like this. But I believe that the more time will be spent in Overwatch, the bigger will be the age average in teams, I believe. But I'm not sure about it. Maybe Overwatch is that mechanically intensive game, although it's not right now, but it will be maybe in 222. Maybe that's why all these players go through. Also, again, esports in general is not that old to even say that, okay, like age is not an issue, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe age is an issue. What I was googling actually was the this player X7 from Team Ants, which I've never seen before on CS:GO. He's playing for Team Ants. Ants obviously one of the best teams right now, although ah the advertisements are very loud. Yes, but anyway,
It's all
he
right.
was playing this game, the CS game. He was playing from 2012, and up until 2018 he never achieved anything. He was like playing for tier 3, tier 4 teams. I've never seen him before. And I'm looking at the list of teams right now. I've never seen him before. And now he's playing for a top team. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe that actually like you can get better, maybe not get better with age, but you can improve, you can go up this. Maybe career ladder, or just in general. Maybe you just need this one lucky spot where like everything clicks with the team, like everyone on the team can play around you, can play around everyone. Maybe that's what some people are looking for. But also on Overwatch, we don't have tournaments necessarily. Yeah, we just have leagues. So you can't really like see a player like going on this streak of winning. It's one game a week. I don't know. It's kind of it's
It's a
kind of
lot
hard.
different.
It's a lot different for sure, and it's kind of, for me it's kind of hard to actually like you know just go out there and win something. Like just go out there, go qualify for a major, do well on this major, make people look at you, and then do well again. This is not something that is really like in Overwatch. In Overwatch, you qualify for contenders. Oh yeah, you qualify for trials, then you get destroyed by British Hurricane in trials, and then you go again, and then you get into contenders, you pop off, you do well, and then you get in another contenders team, and your whole team is taken apart by other teams, and the new team is made, and you can't really improve because this ends again like they were for more than a year. I think the same team. So
Yeah, I
I
mean
don't know.
that's the biggest thing with EU contenders, at least, is like, well, this player's moving to this team now. Oh, they got a replacement, but now he's going to move to another team, and then it's all very fluid in contenders and like where players move, especially when it comes down to unsigned orgs. NA, I think, have a little less of an issue with that because they have more academy teams. Of course, we did have two with Paris, which is the one of the teams you were formerly on, and then Hurricane, of course. But
Yeah,
we
Paris.
see. We'll talk about that in a minute because I'm really curious to get your thoughts on Paris. Because, in fact, we'll talk about it now because I think it's one of the interesting points. Because Paris definitely came in as a hyped squad because there's a lot of like name value on that team. What initially happened with the squad to fall? Not, I wouldn't say fall from grace because Paris didn't have anything beforehand. Eternal Academy, sorry, I should call them. Eternal Academy didn't have anything beforehand, but they came in it hyped because they're an academy team because of all this name value. What was your experience in Paris and like how did that go on throughout the season? Because you didn't do too well.
Yeah, well, we didn't really work well together at all. The thing is, like, um, I don't want to call names, so I'm trying
Yeah, of
to
course.
figure out how to actually go well about it. Well, like we went into goats, right? Into goats meta, but the roster that got picked wasn't actually for goats. So, for example, Kenzie didn't get picked for his Zarya, and Zeal didn't get picked for his Brick. Uh, so basically, two of our DPS players weren't really like one of them. I know for sure wasn't really enjoying the meta, and another one I don't know if he's more known for Genji, right? Zeal is more known for Genji, or for like DPS characters, not
For
for
sure.
the Brig. And I don't know. It just felt like people didn't really click together. Maybe some didn't really care. It's very hard to tell. And I was like, the worst part for me, and this was the second time this happened, was that I was on a very good team that was performing very well, and I was a little bit hyped as a good player. And then I get into this team that does really bad. Like it's very bad. Like we are doing a lot of mistakes, basically not even working together at all. And then I do worse as well. And then maybe I got carried by my previous team. Maybe I'm not that good. And this is the second time it happened in my career. Before that, I also went for another team. After Tornado Rocks actually was doing very good, but I went for another team for the like because I thought it was a move up, but it wasn't. It didn't work together neither, and it just didn't work. And at one point, it's like everyone's now as their name, sort of, you know, we're not
Tarnished.
that good anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
tarnished is probably the word. I'm not native. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm forgetting words
It's
sometimes.
fine.
But
It's
yes,
fine.
yes. And it's for me, it was very difficult mentally, as if like, am I even good? And again, like the problem, not only this, but there was another problem that was like we're doing very bad, and I'm like, maybe I have an issue. I go to the coach, to Savush, and I say, okay, do you think I'm doing good? Because I think that some players on our team are doing not that good, but I can't really tell if I am doing great because I was playing Zarya before, I'm playing Diva now, and I'm trying to mimic what Elivote and Zappis do. I actually watched a lot of their demos when I was switching from Zarya to Diva role. But am I doing it right? Like, do you think that I'm an issue? And he said, no, I don't think that you're an issue. I think you're doing okay. And because of that, actually during our time in Paris, I was kind of on autopilot. I thought that it wasn't my fault. I thought it wasn't me doing bad, and I'm just doing everything okay, just not working out. But
Okay.
after that, after we got dropped to trials, we got almost Panda as our second coach. And when he came in, he actually said, you're doing okay, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do on Diva. You can actually do much more. You can actually do some playmaking things, and you can actually create much more space for your team, so it will be easier for everyone. And then I
I
started
see.
doing what he said. Like he actually teach me quite a bit about it, about what Diva is supposed to do in Ghost, or like what you can actually do. He expanded my vision of it. And after that, I actually became better. I actually became much better, and I saw what I could have done better, and this was very good because if Panda didn't come in, I probably would just like go down a hill. But he came in, he basically saved my saved my Diva play, I would say. And after that, I was very glad. I was very glad that I got invited to tryouts in 1 point, and then I got invited to the team 2 days after tryouts. So I was like, maybe it's not me. Maybe it
Yeah.
actually wasn't me. Maybe I'm okay. Yeah. So now we're doing great. Like we're not doing great. We're doing good. We're doing well.
Yeah.
It will all come up to playoffs, and really, it just feels good now. And one thing that you also need to know about Paris is me and Askoft, we had a lot of fights. Like back in the day, I basically it came down, like I think I can tell it, but it came down to the fact that I wanted to kick him out of the team and he wanted to kick me. But then we talked about it. I said what I don't like about him. He told me what he doesn't like about me. And now I'm actually having a lot of fun. I actually like playing with Askoft a lot now. I would rather play with
Okay.
him than with almost any other Lucio. Like I don't even know who I would rather play if not him. Like he's actually I don't know. Yeah, this is just a funny part
Yeah.
story, I
That's
guess.
quite. I mean, you just kind of aired it out, right? And you were just like, hey, okay, so we don't get along. This is why. Okay, you don't get along with me.
Yes.
This is why. Like, okay, cool. Like, let's be friends now. We can play. That's really good to hear. You kind of made up in that kind of situation because that must be fairly tough because that was one of our big things coming in. It was like, okay, so Askov and Txao coming through from Paris, like, how's that going to work? And obviously you're doing pretty well at the moment, still hoping for playoffs, but that's really interesting to hear these kind of things. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this kind of video format because there's a lot of stuff people don't see and hear about that's fairly
Oh yeah.
interesting.
Oh
That
yeah.
is for sure.
In Overwatch, there's a lot. It's very interesting for me every time I watch another game like Dota or CS. How is it actually inside? Because in
Yes.
Overwatch, like what people see is maybe like this play or this play. Like for example, yeah, this HSL. They actually, I really like what they're doing. They're not the biggest org, but I really like they are like advertising our roster. They're doing the play of the week and stuff like that. So this week there is a play of the week. You probably watched the game. It was a quad bomb from me on King's Row
Yeah.
with Henningsen shutter. And when
Yeah.
you see it from outside, you think, okay, so Henningsen just shutter 4, and I got the kill. So probably it's Henning, right? That did it actually. On the other hand, maybe it was me setting up the play, saying that we're gonna do that. Maybe it's just a setup play. You never know, and I'm not gonna tell you. But I'm just saying that
Okay.
it, okay, I can tell you it was a setup play. We have it for a while, and it was me calling it. And Henning said, "Yes, okay, I understand." We counted down. We did it. It worked out. But the point is, you never know who is like behind the scenes. Maybe the player that is like never been very no flashy. You never see his highlights. Like think of I don't know, maybe A Fox, maybe Erky, yeah. You never see their highlights, but maybe they're the key to the team. Maybe they are the factor that actually makes the team good. Maybe they are the main caller. Maybe they are like maybe they are the part of the team that actually makes the team work. You never know that from the outside. You can only judge the mechanical skill, and that is why assembling any team from just separate players is a very hard job to do because a lot of different personalities, a lot of different things they bring to the team, and sometimes it can clash. Like in Paris, for example, I can't say that we necessarily have had bad players, in that team. Although I do think that some of the players were not accomplished at all. Like for example, say Zeal and Trispear. I don't think they're bad players. I think they're pretty good, but they've never achieved anything before, and getting on the Paris squad might have gotten into their heads, right? Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know. I still like to play with them. They're Buffer Blast, like yeah, but still, you never know what will happen, right? And sometimes, like in Paris, personalities will clash, players will bring something to the table but not bring what you need them actually to bring, and then you miss something and then you lose every game. That's Paris for you, that's Samsung for you probably. uh yeah, I mean new Samsung, like all the players very good, but somehow they just don't click together.
Yeah, which is the
Never
biggest,
know.
which is the weirdest team currently in EU is Morning Stars. And how are they 1-5 right now? It's super weird, super because it's a French
Yes.
core too. And I was like, this is perfect. This is so. Good. And I was really worried for Slur, and I spoke to Slur a little bit, and it's something I mentioned on cast a fair bit. But like, I was like, damn man, you're the only British guy in a full French roster. It's like, no, they're common English. I'm like, oh wow, that's all right then. That's perfectly fine. But obviously the team not doing so hot. So let's kind of talk
Common
about
English. Can you actually
contenders.
understand them?
Yeah, exactly, right? Thank God. Let's talk about contenders and playoffs coming up. Of course, you
Yes.
guys, playoffs currently, right?
Yeah,
2-2-2's
we are.
coming in. It must be a pretty exciting yet a little bit scary for you guys because at the end of the day, with 2-2-2, it shakes up the whole meta. Although a lot of teams are currently and were currently before this almost playing 2-2-2 because of almost Clockwork Vendetta coming in and kind of forcing the hand in the meta. How does it feel on the HSL and like your perspective going into playoffs week?
Like the thing that warms my heart about 2-2 is we are the only team that actually beat CV as of today
Yes,
in
true.
contenders.
Yeah.
So I am not afraid at all. I made my name sort of by playing Diva in dive and sniper meta, and I feel like I do better in the 2-2 meta. I will do better than in any 2-2 meta than I do right now, or at least the same. And I can't say that for other off tanks. For example, yes, we have Molfing and Brusen. Like, I mean Molf. I call him Molfing, but yeah, it's Molf 1G, I guess. They are both great players. Molf was actually the one that I learned a lot in Goats meta after Panda came in. He said, "Look at this guy. Look what he does. Try to implement that some of it," and I did. And they are both great players, but if you remember, outside of Goats, did they ever go anywhere? Not really. Brusen played in 1 point back in the day, and 1 point wasn't that great of a team back in the day. And I mean back in the day, like 2 years ago, yes.
Yeah.
Molf, I don't even think that he was in contenders before. And many of these players right now are like this. They are used to goats. They are not used to playing anything else. Or like even if they are used to playing diva, maybe they're not used to playing diva in snipers. Maybe they're not used to playing dive at all. Like I think that I am personally okay with it. Like I will remember what I did before and I will do fine. And this goes for the rest of my team. Fisher, Zapre, both very the word I'm forgetting is a very good word, but I forget. They played the game for a long time. They played in many teams, they played in many metas, and they always did great. And I believe that they will do great. And this is most important in 2-2 to have a good DPS duo. So I believe that they will be all right in the new meta. Um, Ding will be okay. He's always been in contenders. He's doing great. I think Askov will do great. Henning is a new guy on the block, but I think that he'll do all right with us, and I think he's doing great right now. So I don't think that we will have any issues in 2-2. Although again, like if it's sniper meta, you're looking at people like Kevster asking, and you're looking at them and thinking, well, at least one of them is probably not in contenders anymore, not in playoffs. And you're like, okay, it's all good, it's all fine now. Yes, but Zapre again, like we are the only team that beat CV, so Zapre's widow is actually very good as well. You also need to think about him as a good widow. Um, I think we're gonna do great. We're gonna do fine. Like maybe, yeah. I think we're gonna do well in 2-2 meta, whatever it will be. And people think that it will be bunker. I don't think so. I don't think that bunker will be played every map. actually.
What's the preferred comp then in that case? Because that was the one thing that I thought CV might be able to get everybody on, is the bunker, is the Torb, the May, the whatever, right? But
Yeah.
thinking back about it, it's just like, well, actually, they rely on Monk Martyr a lot of the time with the Widowmaker, which they can't do anymore because of solo heal. You can't do that. He has to go on
Yes.
support. What do you think is going to be the best comp in that case? Do you think, is it going to be Dive
Well,
again? Is it going to be 222 like Ryan Zaya?
first of all, as for CV, they started playing this 2-2-2 with Torb May and Zanana. And I think the only reason they played this comp was because goats, yes? So they just countered goats with it. And after that, the actual CV comp that beat everyone in contenders was what you said, solo healer. So they might not
Yeah.
even be that good in 2-2-2 CV, right? Because they might need to play 2 healers all the time, and they might need Monk on DPS then. But then who do you cut? You can't cut Ricky. You'll have to play May. But then
Yeah.
you can't play May Widow. There's no way. Like you have to play May Hanzo probably, and then Monk is on Hanzo, and he's good on Hanzo, but is he as good on Hanzo as he's on Widow? And then you don't have that carry potential. So you only rely on Moose and Ricky, and then you have two supports who are okay, back to the meta thing. I think that it will be dependent on the map, because the thing is about bunker, yeah, is that you can actually dive it unless you have a character that is hard to dive. For example, Torbjorn. If you have Torbjorn on your bunker, then probably people can't pick dive against you. It's very hard to play Tracer or Genji or Sombra into Torbjorn. On the other hand, if you have Torbjorn against you, what you can do is you pick Orisa Hog and then double sniper, and then you just outrange him, like you just headshot, right? You break the shield, you headshot Torbjorn, you win. Uh, and then people against you who had Torbjorn, they're thinking, okay, we have double sniper against us. Maybe we should go dive. Maybe you just dive them and kill them. You never know. And also on some maps, for example, the biggest example would be probably Lijiang Control Center.
Okay.
Maybe you can play Ryan Zarya. Maybe you can play Ryan Zarya. Maybe you can play Lucia, Ryan Zarya, May, and then like something. Maybe May Reaper. Remember that meta? May Reaper, Lucio, Anna. Why not? Why not? I don't see why not. Reaper is
it,
very strong and Tor is a hog with no diva.
it does very much scream map dependent. I think that's one of the best things about this 222 coming in. It makes the game infinitely easier to balance because you're able to like target balance things rather than go, okay, let's buff this hero. Holy shit, now it's 3-3. Like, oh my god, what have we done? Like, if for example, Brig, like if she was always like an off healer or a main healer without the whole like she does a ton of damage and then she fits into 3-3 incredibly well, like maybe we'd have seen something a little bit different come out of that hero. But with that, it becomes easier to balance, and then it also becomes way more varied because every map will require a certain comp or will favor certain comps as well. It's I think it's obviously for the better, and I'd struggling to find, apart from that IGN article, struggling to find people that disagree that 222 is better for the game. Do you think there's any team there's forgetting CV? Do you think there's any team in contenders currently that will bet, and you of course, that will benefit massively from this big change?
Benefit massively from 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe Angry Titans will benefit from it because of Kevster again.
Okay.
Um,
They're not even in guaranteed playoffs right now. They
yeah, they
are
are not.
2-4 with
I
three
think
other
that
teams.
maybe British will actually benefit from it because I think that Hades Orisa is his best main tank.
Okay.
Um, maybe Orisa and Bull are his best characters. I don't think that his Ryan is that good, as good as of course Orisa and Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think Giganti are okay. I don't think that they will necessarily benefit. If anything, they will lose something from 2-2 lock. But I don't think they will lose much. I think they will be okay either way. I don't think that it will. Actually, it might shift, but you never know in which way it will shift the ranks. The rankings of
Oh, okay.
contenders that it is right now. I don't know. It might not. It's very hard to tell. It depends on what people find, what people play. And as you said, it's much easier to actually balance the game because you don't have like what most people bring up to this discussion is that you don't have to make your tanks compete with your DPS. You don't have to make your healers compete with your DPS,
Yeah,
right?
they're just
Because
competing with
we
each
have
other.
Yes, exactly. Because we had this free meta for a while. If you remember old SG1 and then Ninjas in Pajamas, Hog, Zarya,
Yeah.
Ryan, Anas, and Lucio is a very old comp. Yes, and then it's been a very long time dominant in Europe tank based compositions. We thinking Eagle Gaming quad tank. Yes,
hmm
so it's all started there, and it's always been like this.
Because
And
tanks
yeah,
have been too strong for, well, too strong in relative to like DPS for like a little while. Just going on the fact that like things like Diva, they do a ton of damage, like micro missiles and etc. etc. Like that does a ridiculous amount of damage, and then they've also got a billion health, and then they also
yeah,
have utility. So tanks have always been strong, and exactly like you just said there, they're competing against themselves now and like within their own little pool rather than obviously within the entirety of the Overwatch hero roster, which is only getting bigger. So
yeah.
it's kind of
Uh,
scary.
now,
Have you
now
played
I,
on PTR, by the way? Have you been playing the 222 rank mode?
not Not yet. I'm thinking of downloading it today if Sigma comes out. I really hope that he will be an off tank and that I will get to play it. But no, not yet. I'm still playing on live because contenders played on patch that even is
Yes.
one before that. So I'm trying to uh, practice as much on the same grounds as we play contenders on as possible. But, yeah, that's why I'm not playing on PTR yet. Yes. So what I want to say as well is that you're right. Like tanks can 1v1 almost any DPS, right? They are strong. And the most important thing why Eagle was even like playing quad tank is because they can contest for a very long time. Any
Oh
point. You
yeah.
just go on point and you just stay there for a very long time. Think Ilios Lighthouse. You just go on point and no one can ever get you off of this point. They will kill you eventually, but after 50%. And then you just come
hmm
back, you grab them and you win.
That
And
was
that's how it is.
well. That's how AT. No, sorry, not AT. That's how AT lost. That was how Eagle Gaming ended up winning. Was that it was the lighthouse map, and it was like, well, they're stalling. They continue to stall. They're not dying, and I can't imagine what it would have been like if Wrecking Ball was there as well. Because Wrecking Ball
No.
also stalls for like infinity time. It feels like. In fact,
Yes.
me and Harry were just casting Korean contenders, and there is still situations where people are coming back on tanks like Ball or whatever, and they're stalling out on control, and it's like, whoa, they stalled out to 70%. Wow, okay, well, it's basically over now because no one could do anything. You have ults, you win. It's crazy. Which brings on to me my other topic of like ults and like them getting increased by 12%. We're having another situation where it requires a ton more damage or a ton more, healing output, whatever, to actually gain an ult. How do you think, and what are your opinions on that? Do you enjoy that change as well? Do you like that we're going to see less ults in the game?
Uh, I guess I didn't really think about it because I don't think that 12% is that big of a deal, to be honest. Like for example, sometimes you build your ult on Moira and then you're chilling for like 10 seconds and then you probably would have gotten another 20, 30% that time and then
Mm-hmm.
you go in with it. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I think it also synergizes good with the 2-2 lock. So now you actually don't have to pick a character because he's strong. You want to pick a character because of his abilities on certain maps. Yes, you don't actually have to pick Diva everywhere just because he's OP or she's OP. You pick her because she's very good on Gibraltar, because she's very good with vertical movement, because she's very good with dive, because she's very good against certain characters that you're opposed to. And sometimes you might pick a character for his ultimate, of course. Like for example, you're thinking 2CP, maybe dive is better because you can pick Genji and Sombra, build their ults eventually, and try to go with EMP, Genji, Blade, like maybe Nano Blade, and then just cap the second point. So you're thinking of like actually picking characters for their abilities instead of using abilities of a broken character already on the characters that are not as broken. So maybe like this change is complemented by the 2-2 in the way where you actually want this particular to ultimate and you're like really want to build it, and this is like the play that you're doing. This is one play. You're not actually thinking. On the other hand, we have characters like Widowmaker and Hanzo which are very good without ultimates, which have a lot of pick potential. We're thinking Hog as well, yes. They have a lot of pick potential and they might be played without ults to a great extent. Like they will just pick because they don't actually need to build this ult. They can just rely on the fact that they will just click ahead and win by that. Like who needs an ult when you can just kill free with a
Yeah,
headshot, right?
yeah, with
You're
Widow
just
like
blading,
headshotting people like
doesn't
easy
matter.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ultimates will be more, I guess, obviously the what's it more expensive, more valuable, more valuable.
Yes.
They will be more valuable to your team. So you can't actually just okay, you have Divo bomb, you're just gonna throw it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm just
I'll
gonna
build
build
up another
another
one.
one.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that I noticed. I've been playing little PTR. I played like support queue and then I played like DPS queue. I ended up placing both of those, but my first impression, especially when it came to Hanzo, because Hanzo's like one of the only DPS heroes I can play like okay. And so I was playing him. I'm like, oh, cool. We have Orion Zaya. I just combo with Zaya every single fight. And in my head, I've got like an internal timer of like how much I'm building up per second, like ult charge just passively, and then how many percent I'm getting just by shooting people. And I'm always like almost like 10% off. Like it is 12%, right? I'm always ever so slightly off. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to get at this fight. I just need to hit one arrow. Or like if I'm Zen, I need one orb. And it feels kind of strange. I think teams and just players in general, not even just teams, are going to take a little bit of time to get used to that. It is a bit of a weird change, and I think it can come out of left field ever so slightly. There's one change that I know a lot of people are question marking, and that's the Moira one, the fade out of stuns.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
I mean,
odd change.
yeah. I honestly I just feel like they should define stun a bit better so that like hooks and sleeps are not stuns. But other than that, I think it's okay. Like the character is a bit
Okay.
weak, and it 2-2 is gonna be weaker because she's only strong if you have like three bodies in front of you and you're healing three of them at the same time. And with only two tanks, it's doubtful that you will have more than two bodies in front of you. And of course, range is an issue for her. So I think it's fine buffing her. Maybe it's a bit bad in the way where it's not really fun to play against her because you can't really like just do your thing against her. Like I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm McCree. I'm gonna pick McCree. I'm gonna flashbang and right click Moira, and then I'm gonna kill her. But no, I can't because she will fade out.
Fade.
I,
Yeah.
in deathmatch, it's gonna be a pain. But yeah, I don't know. It's very hard to tell. It's always hard to tell for me with patch notes and like different changes. I just like to just go and play and adapt and see what's good, what's not. For example, I really like what Gigante does every time there's a meta switch. What they end up doing is they just play the same thing that was meta before, and they try to win with this. And they see what people do against them, and if they really like what people do against them, they just copy it. That's how they do. They just do
Yeah.
old meta, and then if there is something better, then they do this. As for the general change, I agree. Probably people will have to adjust and will need time to adapt to the general change of ultimate generation. Probably ult tracking will be a bit off for a bit for some supports, but I think that it's going to be like a couple of weeks. And also, the most important thing for me is that what are we even talking about? As if like this patch, yes, of course, important, but where is it going to be played? Probably Gauntlet, right? Maybe World Cup. But
I could if
I don't
we're
think
playing it in playoffs and it's in stage 4, like there's no way it's not going to be. Is it confirmed for stage 4 though? I can't remember
I
seeing that anywhere.
I don't think it's. But when is stage 4 again? It's gonna be in a couple of weeks, right?
5 days.
5 days. There is no
Yeah.
way this match is gonna be in five. I'm pretty sure that stage 4 is just gonna be played on live. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Although
And
it's 5
then
days as of today. I'm recording this on the 23rd of those for those who are listening right now.
so probably the new patch will probably feature Sigma. I really hope that it will be Sigma patch. Uh, Probably it's gonna be maybe Overwatch League playoffs. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I
They're hard to tell.
it is very close, like very close for the team. So I'm not entirely sure. Of course, I remember some of the teams talking about they already knew about 222, so maybe it comes in for stage 4. I'm not entirely sure. I'll release this video probably in a couple of days, just before I fly out for. Well, I fly out tomorrow, but like regardless, I'll release this video before stage 4 starts though.
Wait, I'm probably wrong. Because this PTR patch has been out for a while, right? It's been like for a week,
It's been.
right? I
Oh
think.
god, now you tested my knowledge. I don't know. I think it's been a few days. It's definitely been
Yeah,
a few, like 5 days, maybe 5-6 days.
5 days. I don't.
Yeah,
It's very hard to tell. Like they will
yeah,
not patch mid stage. I don't. It's very hard to tell. But like we're thinking contenders, yeah. Like contenders is probably not going to be the new patch, even in playoffs. Probably is going to be live patch in playoffs, most likely. So
later down I mean, for World Cup and Gauntlet and stuff, it's definitely
yeah,
going to be like, I don't see
yeah.
them
But
not. It's a long way
what
away.
I think is that by that time, it's a very long way away, and by that time there will probably be more patches balancing the game better, because you can never tell what will happen when you do 2-2-2.
Oh,
Maybe something will
100%.
be broken, maybe something will be very weak. You never know. So probably will be more patches down the line. Maybe they will tweak the Ultimate Generation even more. You never know. So it's very hard to tell now, and yeah, that's my point basically. It's hard to theory craft that thing.
Definitely. And one thing I wanted to touch on before we kind of wrap up is World Cup, obviously coming up.
Yeah.
With you going with Team Russia. How has that been working out for you guys so far? How have the tryouts been going, and how have in-house scrims, if you're doing those? How has it all been so far?
We were doing only in-house scrims. We were doing it for a week. Before that, we had two phases. Phase one was like just everyone was trialing except for contenders players and OWL players. And by contenders players, I mean not only current but like past teams as well, like
Oh, okay.
Tonic, even Rubicon. They were
Oh.
invited to phase two, and then we played for a week in phase two. Although again, I'm not sure if the trials were actually legitimate or it was just to trial,
Mm-hmm.
because we in Russia we have two OWL DPS players, so they're probably going. We have me as a contender off tank, although I'm not sure I'm going. We have another off tank who is kind of good. I don't know if they want to pick him or me. I don't know the roster yet. But we have me like as a contenders player. We have um, Eng as a contender player. He was recently playing for 1 point last season. He's not playing now, not in contenders. He's playing the game, but not contenders. So he's recently been there. Savage as well. Savage was trailing as well. And then we have main tank and off healer, off support. We don't have any players who were playing the game recently, right?
Ah, okay.
It's only Tonic, but Tonic has been in contenders. Haven't been in contenders for like 2 seasons or 3 seasons maybe. And then like we have Rubicon and Mayun was playing Apex actually for the whole duration of
Oh.
the year maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, ever
wow.
since I've been in Paris. So yeah, you can't tell. But yes, Mayun has been playing like 3 or 4 months now Overwatch, and he's I think right now I think he's top 10
Oh, wow.
on one of his
Okay.
accounts. I
Jesus.
think he's maybe top 10 or top 20. Yes. Um, yeah, so he's doing fine, but I don't know who will go. The only thing that I know, but I don't think I can tell it, um maybe I can, is that we might have other issues other than having players or not, because even if some players, like if maybe committee wants a player to go, maybe he will not be able to, that I can tell you.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. Yeah, you don't have to get
so
into that. It's all good.
yeah, we might have other issues because we're Russians, and
Yeah, visas can be tough sometimes.
with yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining me, Txao. I really do appreciate it. It's definitely been eye-opening, and it's cool to learn your story about getting into like competitive games and stuff. It's always something that I like talking about with people. It's interesting to see where people came from. Is there any words that you wanted to say to your personal fans out there and fans of HSL and whatnot?
Well, thank you for supporting us. That's for sure that I want to say, and thank you for supporting me for a very long time. People are supporting me, probably Russians. So I would rather say spasiba. But yeah, like I don't know. I really hope that things will be even better for me, for my current teammates, for my previous teammates, and by better I mean hopefully we will move up after this contender season. If not, it was a blast either way. And I really hope that we will achieve the best result we can in playoffs of contenders. And Gauntlet is a dream.
Hell yeah,
Getting there
still on
is a
the
dream.
cards, man. You got this.
It's very far away, but it's a dream. Yes, but again, like thanks to everyone for supporting us and me, and thank you for having me here. It's been fun. My English is getting worse and worse with day by day. Yeah, I need to read more or like watch more things in English. That's for sure. Yeah, but thank you for having me. It was a good experience for sure.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you very much, man, and thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Well, we'll catch you guys very soon. Cheers.